Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Lekim Huiting. My site number is 41. Today I'm going to present on the news VN index falters as Trump tests COVID-19 positive. Here's the table of contents for today. First of all, I'd like to introduce some of the terminologies that I have learned. First of all, VN index or Vietnam Stock Index is a capitalization weighted index of all the companies listed on the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange. The VN30 index tracks the performance of the top 30 large cap liquid stocks listed on the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange. About blue chip stocks, they're coming from well-known, well-established companies. They have strong history of business performance and often pay dividends to the investors. Last but not least, capitalization is the monetary value of a company's outstanding shares. It is calculated as the current market price multiplied by the total number of outstanding shares. To elaborate on what actually happened on the day the news was released, on October 2nd, 2020, Friday, after the tweet from the US President Donald Trump announcing the contraction of the novel coronavirus of himself and his wife, the Vietnamese domestic stock market reacted immediately with a vertical sudden drop across almost all industry, losing almost 17 points to reach a low of 897 points. At the end of the Friday session, the stock market narrowed the loss gap to 4.18 points, closing at 909.91 points. At the time the news was released, several stock agency electronic trading platforms froze due to the overloading selling and buying orders. Investors could not make any orders for approximately 5 minutes following the sharp decrease. About the reasons why it happened, there are three main reasons. First of all, the news on the US President Donald Trump contracting COVID-19 could be considered as a systematic risk affecting the financial markets across the globe, and the Vietnamese domestic market was not an exception. The sudden news was unpredictable and impossible to avoid. As US is the world leading economy, its political situation affects the global market as a whole. Second of all, at the time the news was released, the pressure of sell-off from investors to cut loss has dramatically boosted trading volumes. To explain the bounce back of VN Index to the end of the session, it was thanks to the pulling force from the blue chip stocks with large capitalization in the VN30 basket. This is not only an effective pulling force, but it was also the healing factor to ease investor sentiment. Last but not least, Vietnam is considered one of the world's most efficient countries in terms of controlling the coronavirus situation and enacting policy to boost domestic economy. The bounce back at the end of the session reflects the investor positivity towards the ability to control COVID-19 by the Vietnamese government. Even though exporting and importing activity has slowed down due to the spread of the pandemic, domestic trading activities are relatively dynamic and promising. Moreover, after the two historical events happened in March and July 2020, when the coronavirus strikes Vietnam, the economy tumbled but then recovered quickly thanks to the timely reaction from the government to support it. Because of this, investors are likely to become more optimistic this time. About what are the potential impacts of the event. Firstly, strong individual purchasing power has been the key to the strong rebound of the Vietnamese stock market this year after it was hit twice by the COVID-19 outbreak. It is expected that more investors will join the stock market because of the promising prospect of both long-term and short-term gains. Secondly, daily average trading volume on the Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi markets in the second and third quarters of the year grew by 40% and are expected to continue to grow. Indeed, Vietnamese stock market has performed better than expectation and is considered among the fastest growing markets amid the COVID-19 pandemic. About my opinion, the current low interest rate offered by banks serve as an incentive for investors to seek alternative investment options, and stock markets is a promising financial market in this stage. There are several hidden opportunities at the moment, and individual investors should do careful research on companies with strong records of business performance to limit the risk and losses. Moreover, in my opinion, investors should be cautious of the upcoming presidential election date in the US, which is November the 3rd, 2020, and decide on a suitable investment strategy at this stage. For example, they can decide to sell off all their stocks before the election to minimize the risk resulting from the unpredictable result of the election. This is some references that I've used for my presentation, and thank you for listening.